Alrighty, so we are going to be expanding and condensing logarithms. We're going to be using those properties that we talked about yesterday and using them more than just like one at a time here. All right, so so the instructions on this first page are to condense them. So we have this written out as two terms, but we're going to be able to condense them down a little bit smaller. Now, when we do this, we can't just have random stuff there. Like, you have to actually have equality that somebody can follow. And that is a big thing when they are grading your AP exams. And again, I can't always see your work. I am looking at your work, but it's clicking through there and really making all these notes on everybody's is kind of impossible. I would never have enough time. So I'm telling you this like as a whole, and then you got to do what you know how to do. Is that I actually need to have this. So I'm taking this and I'm adjusting it. So I actually need an equal sign. It's more important than a lot of you realize. So when I have this here, I can take this 2. It comes up and it becomes an exponent. So this becomes log, and then 6 squared is 36 minus log of 9. Then I have 2 logs with the same base, and I'm subtracting, so I can change that into division. So the log of 36 divided by 9. And so in the end, that gives me the log of 4. Any questions about that? All right. So then on number 2, we've got this exponent here, this exponent here. So this is log base 4 of a to the 4th plus log base 4 of b squared. Then we're going to use our product property. You always want to make sure that they actually have the same base, which they do. So then this is log base 4 of a to the 4th b squared. And there's nothing for me to simplify, so this is it. Any questions? Alrighty. Then let's look at number 3. So I've got 2 exponents again. This 7's going to go on the u. This 3 goes over here, but I already have an exponent, so we got to make sure we handle that correctly. So this is going to become log base 4 of u to the 7th minus log base 4. Now I have v squared, and I'm taking that to the 3rd power, so that's a power to a power rule, which means I multiply them, so that will give me v to the 6th. So now I have 2 logs with the same base. I'm subtracting them, so that becomes division. So I'm going to have log base 4 of u to the 7th over v to the 6th. And I cannot simplify that because those have different bases, and that is it. Now number 4 has 3 terms, and our rules are really just taking 2 at a time, so we're going to have to do them 2 at a time. So I'm going to take these 2 and combine them. They have the same base, so this will be log base 2 of 15 times 4, and I could have gone ahead and multiplied that, but minus log base 2 of 6. So now I have 2 logs, same base. I'm subtracting, so that's my quotient property. So this gives me log base 2. What is 15 times 4? 60. So this is going to give me 60 divided by that 6. So in the end, I get log base 2 of 10. Everybody good so far? All right. Let's look at number 5. I'm going to combine these 2. So I get log base 3, and then I multiply the 4 times the y, plus, now this 1/2 becomes an exponent on the 49, so what's 49 to the 1/2 power? Square root is, yeah, it's 7, so it's the square root. So it's log base 3 of 7. Then I can use the product property again and get log base 3 of 28y. Everybody good so far? All right. Let's look at number 6. Now, number 6, I have a couple of options here. So I'm going to start with option number 1, and then we're going to stop because we're going to realize that maybe that's not the easiest way to do it. But it depends on the specific problem you're on. Maybe the way I start it would be the way I'd want to do it for a different one. So I could start with, so I've got this 1/3. I'm going to start by combining this in here. So I'm going to have this 1/3 times log base 5 of whatever 8 times 27 is, minus log base 5 of 3. Okay, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with what I just wrote down, but let's think about what we would have to do moving forward here. I'd have to multiply 8 times 27, which is not that big of a deal, but I mean, it can do it. I don't even care what the number is right now. And then once I get that number, I'm going to have to take this 1/3 and put it up here, which means I'm going to have to take the cube root of that number. Now, cube roots aren't as easy popping in your brain as the square roots are. So maybe I don't want to try and take a cube root of a big number. So although there's nothing wrong with this, there's a different way I could do it that would actually simplify it. So I don't want you to erase this. I'm just going to mark through it, and then we're going to move on. So it's not wrong. It's just like, I don't think I want to go down that road. So instead, I'm going to start by actually distributing this 1/3 to these two terms. So I have 1/3 times log base 5 of 8 plus 1/3 times log base 5 of 27 minus log base 5 of 3. Everybody with me so far? Understand where everything came from? Okay, so now when I move forward, this 1/3 becomes an exponent on the 8, so I'm going to take the cube root of 8, which is not that big of a deal, right? What's the cube root of 8? 2. Plus, then this 1/3 becomes an exponent on the 27. What's the cube root of 27? 3. Minus log base 5 of 3. So now at this point, I don't even have to use my product and quotient rules anymore, because look at this. I've got log base 5 of 3 minus log base 5 of 3. Those zero out, and my answer is log base 5 of 2. Any questions? We would have gotten to the same answer doing it the other way. We would have just had to mess with bigger numbers, and it wouldn't have been as nice. All right, let's look at, actually, you try number 3. I'll let you work on number 3, and then I'll work through it with you. Oh, not number 3, I'm sorry, number 7. I saw the 3. All right, did you get down to log base 2 of 2? Can I take it any farther than that? What is log base 2 of 2? 1. So in the end, that is just 1. All right, let's look at number 8. So on number 8, I'm going to go ahead and take 2, and it's going to become the exponent there, so I get the natural log of 36. Then this 1/4 is that, so it's going to be minus the natural log of 16 to the 1/4 power plus the natural log of 3. All right, so 16 to the 1/4 power is a 4th root, right? Taking the 4th root is really no big deal. All you have to do is take the square root and then take the square root again. So the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. So the 4th root of 16 is 2. So then I can combine these two, and I will get the natural log of 36 divided by 2 plus the natural log of 3. What's 36 divided by 2? 18. Oops. So this could be 18 times 3. And then what is 18 times 3? 54. Any questions at all? Alrighty. So that is condensing, making them smaller. Now we're going to expand, and there's reasons we would need to do both of these things when we're actually getting to the solving part. So here, this one's telling us to expand the logarithm completely. Okay, so when you're doing this, you need to pay attention to where your exponents are, because this 4 only affects that z, which means I do not get to pull it out in the front right now because it doesn't affect this whole argument. But these 3 things are being multiplied, so I can use my product rule, and I can change this to log base 6 of x plus log base 6 of y plus log base 6 of z to the 4th. Then that I can move the 4 now, so I'm just going to rewrite the first 2. Log base 6 of x plus log base 6 of y plus 4 times log base 6 of z. And there you go. Any questions? All right. So number 10, that 9, that exponent 9 only affects a. It does not affect b, so I do not get to take it out in front of the log at the beginning. I need to start by splitting that up. So this is going to become log base 4 of a to the 9th minus log base 4 of b. Then I'm going to take this 9, and it can now come out front. It'll be 9 times the log base 4 of a minus log base 4 of b. Any questions at all? Okay. All right, let's look at 11. So here, this squared does affect this whole argument here, which means this 2 can go ahead and come out front. So this is going to give me 2 times log base 7 of q to the 4th r squared. Now, when I split the q and the r, because it is the product property, I have to pay attention to the fact that I have this 2 out front and I need parentheses. This is going to be 2 times, and then when I split this up, these 2 logs have to be in this parentheses, so this will be log base 7 of q to the 4th plus log base 7 of r squared. Okay, so if you have something multiplied in front of a log, whenever you expand it, you have to have parentheses because it affects the whole thing. So then I'm going to drop these exponents down in front of these two logs, so I still have my 2 in my parentheses. Then that's 4 times the log base 7 of q plus 2 times log base 7 of r. And then to finish it up, I distribute. So this becomes 8 times log base 7 of q plus 4 times log base 7 of r. Any questions at all? So let's look at 12. So 12, this exponent affects the whole thing, so it gets to go ahead and come out front. So it's going to give me 2 times log base 2 of y over z to the 5th. So then when I split that, I need parentheses again. So this is going to be 2 parentheses log base 2 of y minus log base 2 of z to the 5th. Then before I distribute, I need to take care of that exponent that's a 5. And this gives me 2 times log base 2 of y minus 5 times log base 2 of z. Then to finish it up, I distribute, and I get 2 times log base 2 of y minus 10 times log base 2 of z. Any questions? Alrighty, let's look at 13. So this doesn't have an exponent, but I need to change that root to an exponent. So this is going to be the natural log of 7x cubed to the 1/2 power, because that whole thing was under the square root. So since I have this on this whole thing, I get to bring that out front. So I get 1/2 times the natural log of 7x cubed. Then I need parentheses when I expand. Natural log of 7 plus natural log of x cubed and rewrite the first part. And then I can bring the 3 out front, so 3 times the natural log of x. Then I finish it up by distributing. So I get 1/2 times the natural log of 7 plus 3/2 times the natural log of x. Any questions at all? Alrighty, then y'all work on number 14. When you finish with it, check yourself with me. Make sure we agree. Please let me know if you have any questions about it. Okay, so no questions? All right, your assignment is in Delta Math. You do have to submit work for this. And if you don't have any other questions,